So, having said that, we can get started. Why do you even need newsletters in the first place? And I'm going to share 6 reasons why. I'm going to share. Let me start with Beehive State of the Report 2025. And this has come like 10, 11 months from now. I'm recording this on what's the date? 20th November 2025. So we are almost in the end, and maybe um, in a month or so, like maybe in Jan or early Feb, Beehive will be releasing their next year's report. But if we just look at the data here, Beehive predicts that by 2027 there will be an estimated like 4.8 billion email users worldwide, and they say that it's 50% of the world's population. That's crazy. And if you look at this graph, these are the emails sent using Beehive. Like if you see, look at 2021, it was 5 million. In 2024, it is 15.6 billion. And I'm sure this is like way significantly higher when they put out the 2025 data right now. So my point is email newsletters are growing, and that is partly because most people are creating content. Like if you look at maybe pre-covid, there are only few people who were called creators who created a lot of content online. Today business owners create online. There is something called like founder led marketing where founders are actually creating content. There are people going to college and sharing their experience of college. So basically people are doing interesting stuff and sharing it on online. So the top of the funnel content on social media is crowded right now, and newsletters reduces that for you. Newsletters funnelizes that, where you uh, where you get into a market of social media, build a followers, and then get them to your email list, because that is where the crowd is actually less, and that is where people give a little more attention to you than they give on social media. So that's the first reason. And if you pick any newsletter related course or newsletter related content, and if you're trying to figure out if you need to start a newsletter, the very first thing you listen is that you have ownership of the audience. And what people mean by that is, uh, if you want to connect, if you want to connect your followers for something, it is impossible to connect, right? You can't just mass DM everyone. The algorithm will mark you as spam, or you can't have like a personal one-on-one connection on social media. So social media is like a one to many, uh, one to many kind of a connection. And you don't know what to do. For example, I think in 2020 Instagram changed its algorithm, and most people's reach has been affected. Or things like if social media, if Twitter bans your account or something like that, and which is happening recently. I know someone very recently, I think 2 to 3 months ago, someone who has about 30K followers on Twitter got banned for no reason, because his username was matching with some company's name that was supposed to be banned, and they thought, okay, this person's name is similar to that, so maybe this person is associated with that brand, so they've just removed the account. I don't know the status of that. I don't know if the account has been recovered. But imagine having 30K followers and they're gone overnight. But that doesn't happen with emails. When you build a newsletter, you have the direct address of your audience. So even if any platform gets shut down or if anyone bans you, you still have the email list that you can import to any other platform and still continue staying in touch and communicating with your audience. But ownership is something that you've heard multiple times already. I would take it even further and say you will have access to the first party data. So when you're working on social media, when you're building a social media audience, it is really hard to stay connected with the audience for a really long time, because you don't really know what people would react for. It is always like post content analysis. You post a reel, you look at the engagement, then you understand, okay, this is the content this is the content format that is working, or this is a content topic that is working, right? But with newsletters, what happens is you have onboarding survey, you have different types of surveys, you have uh, means to basically collect a lot of first party data. And if I can take example of my newsletter Cognition, which is for people who are into marketing for 3 to 5 years and want to level up their marketing skills. uh, so in my case, what happens is I have a lot of first party data on what my readers' experience level is, what their biggest problems are, what are the things that they would want to learn from me, etc., etc. So when I create content for them, it is not based on assumptions. I'm not just pushing out a content online and hoping that it would be useful for them, but instead what I'm doing is I am looking at the data. I'm looking at things like, okay, 30% of the people have a problem in measuring the ROI on content. So let me write an issue on that, because 30% of my audience have a problem with that. So when I do that, my audience will automatically find the content valuable. So yeah, first party data allows you to know your customers even closely, and which is why you build a stronger relationship with them, which is why you can build solutions for them that would solve the problems that they mentioned are causing trouble for them. And the next point number 4, is newsletters are gold. You're just leaving out money on the table if your ICP hangs out in the online world, or spends a lot of time online, or a lot of decision making happens on emails or something like that. So if your ICP is anywhere close to that, then you should definitely be considering emails and newsletters. I mean, good industries, like good examples of this is if you have a SaaS product, email newsletters make sense. If you're someone in the creator economy, building uh, bottom of the funnel content, bottom of the funnel content with your newsletter, and then attaching digital products or a paid community to it makes sense. If you're running communities, or like if you're running anything digital where people would like to hang out, then it makes sense. Where it might not make sense is for the niches like cooking and gaming, where in gaming most people spend a lot of time in the video channels. So you might want to create, like, your best ROI might come from a YouTube streaming platform or something like that, YouTube streaming channel or something like that. um, but yeah, or like cooking, like if you take cooking as a niche, what's happening is it is a visual thing. Like uh, people would prefer a YouTube channel or an Instagram account over text content. But there are always exceptions. There is this book called Masala Lab, which basically talks about cooking, and people read that. It is text content, right? So if that book is such a hit, maybe the text content might also be a hit. uh, but I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it is rare, because you have to have a great exceptional leverage of a thought leader in that space, and then your content has to be so good that it breaks the comfort of video content. So yeah, but my point is, if your audience spend a lot of time online, if your audience spend a lot of time on emails, then um then your content uh, should definitely cater to that. You should definitely create more um, newsletters, or you should consider creating a newsletter. The next thing is email ROI. You might have heard this phrase multiple times, like for every dollar you spend in email marketing, there is like $36 ROI. And it is also true that emails are a digital channel with the highest ROI in all the in all the digital channels that are present right now. But there is a small nuance here that people miss. Most of the data we have around ROI in the emails is based on email marketing, not on newsletters alone. So the difference between, like, we will get to it in the future videos, but a very basic difference between these two is, in email marketing is more about sales and communication with your audience, whereas newsletters is more about educating your audience. What do I mean by that? If I'm running a hair care brand, my email marketing is more about, hey, this is a new beard oil you should check out. Hey, this is your new hair oil you should apply. So here there is communication and sales happening. But for the same brand, if I'm running a newsletter, the content would be around education. I would create content on topics like, is applying oil to your hair a good thing, or why are you having a hair fall, something like that. So that is the difference between email marketing and newsletters, and most people usually miss this nuance when they talk about ROI and ROI on emails. But yeah, even with this data, it might not be like one is to $36, but it still has a really good ROI compared to any other digital channel. And the last thing, the entire narrative of you make money with newsletters. I get messages from a lot of leads telling that, I want to start creating newsletters because a lot of people on Twitter and LinkedIn are posting that, I've made XYZ amount of dollars with newsletters in only 3 months, 4 months. I want to touch down on that a little. And whenever you talk about newsletters making money, you will hear stories of how Morning Brews was sold for like 75 million, or the Hustle has been acquired for 27 million. Um, I'm not going to sell you a fairy tale on that. I want to give you a more realistic perspective on it. Um, and I'm not undermining your ability to build the next Morning Brew or the next Hustle. All I want to say is you will most likely fail because. um as a business owner, you might have to test like multiple marketing channels, and you might understand that okay, newsletters is not the thing for you, and that's still fine, that's okay. um, so that's one thing. And second thing, even if you have a successful newsletter, you might probably not reach the scale of Morning Brew or the Hustle. It is because these newsletters are published daily, and they probably sell an ad slots somewhere between like 5 to 7 ad slots a day, costing thousands of dollars. And uh, costing thousands of dollars, and just by the frequency of it, like if you could be running a weekly newsletter, they are running a daily newsletter, and they have like products attached to their newsletter, so the revenue will be definitely higher. But how do I measure success? Okay, I would say you will have, if you do it right, you will have a successful newsletter business if it contributes significantly to your revenue. So the more realistic promise I can make on newsletters here is, or the entire build make money from newsletters narrative comes from, if you do your newsletter right, it will be like one of the top three revenue making things uh, for your business. And just to give you an example of Cognition, uh, with less than 1,000 subscribers, I've made a revenue of $2,500 so far. And this includes like multiple sources, like we have ad network, there's a newsletter cohort that I've run previously, I do one-on-one consultations, premium community, etc. But compare this to any other platform. Having 1,000 followers on any social media platform, or having 1,000 audience on any other thing, does not help you make money. And that is the sixth reason. Like when people say you can make money compared to other channels with the audience, you can definitely do that.